there is still a chance to emerge victorious. The Japanese pilots take off, heading for the closest American carrier, Yorktown. The enemy dive bombers score 3 hits, killing more than a dozen men. But unlike the Japanese carriers, there are no bombs, torpedoes, or fuel on deck waiting to explode. For all the smoke and fire, Yorktown is still afloat. Two hours later, as the Yorktown continues to patch herself up, a second wave of enemy planes target the carrier. Yorktown's fighter pilots scramble, eager to engage the enemy. Down goes one Japanese torpedo bomber after another. But still, the enemy comes.
I look out there and here's this torpedo coming, and it looks like a brand new nickel just comes shining through the water right beneath us. And I said, oh my God, this is it. And it goes off.
One American carrier is down. The Japanese carrier Hiryu must be stopped fast. When they find it, Lieutenant Dick Best is right there once again.
And I did look back when I was far enough out to the west to turn, and she was aflame and burning just the way the ones in the morning had been. I felt myself to be the lord of creation at the time. The sense of accomplishment and fulfillment of revenge is so sweet that I don't think I ever felt anything as intensely again in all my life.
Caught in the inferno on the Hiryu is Taisuke Maruyama, one of the torpedo pilots who had just crippled the Yorktown.
The maintenance crews and emergency crews who had tried to extinguish the fire were injured by the explosion, and many lost their legs and hands. The military doctor was operating on them on the deck, soaked in blood. The troops were burnt black, dead bodies strewn across the deck.
Hiryu, Soryu, Akagi, Kaga. By the end of the day, all 4 Japanese carriers have been destroyed. Hundreds of young men dead, maimed, burned, or left to drown. "24 hours later, the injured Yorktown is still afloat and headed home, escorted by the destroyer Hammond. What nobody sees is the enemy submarine below the surface, with 2 sitting ducks in her sights. Japanese torpedoes split the Hammond in 2, taking 81 men to the bottom, and mortally wound Yorktown. For nearly a day, the carrier lingers on the surface, refusing to die. Yorktown radioman Lloyd Childers is in sick bay on a nearby ship with serious wounds to both legs. He watches his carrier go down.
This huge ship slowly sank below the water, the waves, until it disappeared, and we watched it until it was completely gone. It's very brutal business. My other thoughts were that it's a terrible thing that so-called civilized nations could do things like that to each other, convincing me that we're not really civilized yet.
And now the sonar on the ATV itself is announcing something big and oddly beautiful dead ahead.
There it is.
Stop.
Straight ahead.
Contact that ship.
Change your range scales in on OAS.
How she blows.
It's definitely
I'm
Yorktown.
lateral and left.
There's no question about that.
Photo.
The Yorktown, at last. Exactly where Ballard thought it would be.
Okay, just hold that still.
In the wet lab, is the OIC in the wet
Try
lab?
to hold it.
I'm looking at my ready room right now,
Okay, tan up with your tan up.
which is under the bridge on the island on the flight deck.
Keep coming.
Too much.
Right past this.
Too much.
Hold that shot.
All the people that did their jobs, I can see them doing them now.
Keep coming up, though. Oh, Yorktown, you're beautiful. Good, okay.
Now I want to
Turn your
pivot
head
to the
again.
right, to 090. Come around. Turn it right.
There you go.
The Yorktown, 1,100 miles from Hawaii, 3,000 from Japan. Over 3 miles below the surface. Her 19,000 tons sunk halfway into the mud, her bow crushed. Yet Yorktown is still intact. The bridge. The flight deck. The pilot house. She is nearly untouched by time, her guns still pointing skyward to fend off the final attack.
balancing deck and I still got it. So I got off again with it at the same time. Thanks again for finding it.
A pleasure.
And on behalf of the crew, just glad to be here.
Me too.
America has won the battle for Midway and stopped Japan cold. The Japanese Navy would never recover from its losses.